oh, this girl is looking at my story. I'm like, everybody looks a bit at their ex on social media or other people and just at least once. I
Yeah.
feel everybody does that, at least a little bit of just looking at what other people are doing a little bit. That's what, it's the very toxic thing about social
Yeah.
media. But what's also
Yeah.
is those women,
Yeah.
looking at who's looking at their stories and then talking about it together and then telling Uche. I mean, it's either it got to that really high kind of active feeling uncomfortable, in which case why did you not go see the police if she was that intrusive in your lives of looking at your stories and you felt the need to talk to other people about it and then talking to Uche, why did you not get the police involved? I feel it's just, they noticed that she was looking at their stories a couple of times and they got bitchy about it and then told Uche about it, probably because they fancied him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really like it's hard for me to respond to the whole situation because we don't know what's
Yeah.
truthful and what isn't, or to what extent it's truthful. Because yes, on the one hand, I even implore people, I encourage them to go out and do a bit of stalking with what do we call these?
Speech marks.
Yeah,
It's
to like to because it's not really stalking, but I encourage people to go and look up the person they're about to go on a date with and to see who they are and to come prepared. But but then there's a fine line between that. Like I've never started looking at stories of their friends and women they follow. I've never done that. I feel it's a bit weird to start following people that they follow, and it really depends on the extent of it as well, like how many times and how many things. And he did have some screenshots of showing them conversations or whatever. I don't know, the whole thing is just so toxic, the
yeah.
whole thing.
So I agree about checking out social media and things like that. I haven't looked at an ex's social media in a long time now. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been known to do it. I don't think I've ever looked at like a girl he was dating or whatever. I don't think I've ever done that. The only thing I have ever done is because one of his like girlfriends after we broke up messaged me to talk to me about it. So then I looked at her social media. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
so
fun
I looked at
times.
her, but I know, but the reason that I don't do that is because it's toxic for me and it would get me in a bad spiral and things like that. And so I wouldn't do that. But I know that a lot of people just end up, going into that spiral of, can I catch a glimpse of him on other social media and things like that? A lot of people do that. It's not great. They shouldn't be condemned for it. And it's, proportionality of how much do they actually do it? Is it
Yeah.
just a couple of clicks for a week because they're getting over a breakup? Or is it active stalking and showing up outside of their houses regularly and things like that? The TV show You,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Of course.
and great show. And that first
Yes.
season where for an episode or two, he's in that grey zone of
Mm-hmm.
we all kind of do, to an extent, some sort of stalking of,
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of women are like, I'd love a guy like Joe that would stalk me outside of work,
Oof.
and blah, blah. And
Oh God.
it's that whole construction of everybody kind of does that type of thing, and then you get into the serial killer extreme of what's that normal behavior that's a slippery slope, but that normal behavior that we all have. And I feel that Lydia is at that normal behavior that everybody has, added to a lot of toxic personality
Mm-hmm.
traits, and Uche has his own toxic personality traits and maybe think he'd cause a bit of drama around that. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I also feel like she's a bit of a dramatic person in general. Her reactions to everything is so over the top. And I mean, it sounds to me like also when all that was going down, it was when she was at a sensitive time in her life. So she must have been even more extreme and more dramatic. And I don't know, but I feel like if she actually came to the show because she heard that he was going to be there, that is completely insane. And I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. That's a whole, that kind of leans to, okay, this is a bit much. But he says it himself that she was in a tough time, didn't know anyone, getting over something difficult, and so you're not behaving as your best self during those times. So he said it himself. So,
Yeah.
it doesn't excuse everything, but if it does excuse some behaviors. And
He
yeah,
just isn't equipped to, sorry.
well, I mean, the whole thing, if he, then did she know?
Yeah.
It's so difficult to get on these shows. I would,
Yeah.
how, it is so difficult to get on these shows. What contact does she have at Netflix to say, my ex is on this show, can I come on?
Well, I no, because I actually believe that because in the sense of I feel like they would want to stir up drama. They love the rating and they love all these crazy situations. And if she came on and said, I know someone who's gonna be in, I want to surprise him, I feel like they would want that drama.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe,
how?
you know what? Maybe she didn't tell anyone. And maybe she just tried to get accepted. And she's such a crazy personality that I feel like Lydia is is exactly what they're looking for.
I agree.
It would be very easy for her to get accepted into the show.
Well, with that, I have some kind of, asterisk on it that when I talk Love Island,
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that tried signing up to Love Island who would absolutely fit the carrier, the archetype, the Love Island archetype.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of trouble coming into it because, your videos aren't even, your audition videos aren't even, watched. They do a lot of,
Yeah.
looking on social media and things like that, and who has many followers. And it's just, I agree with you about she's the type of personality, and then maybe, because it's in a big city, there's less people, but still a lot of people. I feel that there's just probably a likelihood that they both signed up and then she heard that he was signing up, but she had already gone in the process and things like that. I mean,
Yeah. Who knows?
who knows? I
Who
mean,
knows what
maybe
happened?
maybe at the end of the reunion episode, we're gonna get some receipts.
Yeah, I'm waiting for receipts. I want to see what happens. But like I feel like he had no like I'm trying to think of what would be his motive to come and make himself look crazy and start spreading this story. Like, because he could have left it and it would have died down. But like I don't know what, why he would make something like that up.
I
Or
don't
maybe he's just blowing it out for
exactly. I
proportion.
think that's what's happening. I think it's just things being blown out of proportion. Um, and I think that these things are very highly produced. The reason why I say this is because
Yeah.
there was a TV show a few years back called Unreal, which was all about how,
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
right,
Yeah.
that's that. And then I watched some interviews of the first cast of Love Island where their NDAs had, ended so they could just talk about certain things. And in the TV show Unreal, and from these interviews of real people, they all say we get produced. They all say,
Yeah.
we end up in these situations where you've got producers that kind of talk and talk and talk at you, that kind of convince you. And then you've got that other guy who's kind of suing Netflix because they are underpaid for the amount of filming that happens. Like, I don't remember his
Mm-hmm.
name. And he's saying, they film us for 18 hours and then we get 6 hours sleep and then we're filmed all day and then they give us alcohol and they and we're worked in as these bright lights and music and things. I think they end up in these situations where they are just tired and not thinking straight, and then you've got
Yeah.
producers talking at them and think it's just a whole thing to make drama. And so Uche, who has some negative personality traits that we spoke about last time,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know about easy, but a good, a good producer that has skills at doing this would have found a way to just blow things out of proportion.
Oh, for sure. And in all this, I really don't, I find it very hard that Milton would be able to stick around. I feel like, first of all, just in general, he's way too young for her. She's way too old for him, even though many times she doesn't act very mature. But I feel like the age gap is very eminent. Like he's just not where, like she already has a career. She's
Yeah,
already, like, I mean, they both have careers, but he lives such a lifestyle of like of a child. And also I feel like if I would run the other way in this drama. I don't care what's true, what isn't. Look how she's reacting with such over the top, and like she's always going to be reacting like that because she's just a dramatic person. And I feel like someone like Milton, who's so chill and so like quiet and so the opposite, I don't think he'd be able to cope with. He would lose himself in such a woman. He would lose his personality. He would be completely like diminished by her. And again, whether it's true or not, we don't know, and we don't know to what extent. But I feel like for him, it would be the wrong move to stay with her because you never know. You never know what will pop up. Such a huge red flag. And I asked my boyfriend about this last night about a situation. What if like we were just starting to date and my ex came up to you and started telling you all of these stories, and he would be, you know what, if we were just dating and I don't even know you and I don't know who you are, it would be a red flag for me. It would be it would shed a bad light on the whole thing. And I just rather not get into it to begin with. Like I can find someone without this drama, you
yeah.
know?
Because even if it is untrue, I don't want that type of drama in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I had dated someone a while back, where his ex did less dramatic things, but similar kind of drama oriented things. And I was like, I just can't. And he's like, I hate it. I hate it. It's like, yeah, but you're around it. You're bringing it into my life. And so that was that. And I agree. It's just, if even if what Uche is saying is all lies, you are still the common denominator.
Common denominator.
Common denominator. Wow, that was hard. Thank you.
Yes.
In that, and just even if it is lies, then everything has some sort of truth to everything. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree. Even if it is lies, I wouldn't